and it's time to start. So today we're going to cover the new major update for our client applications. I'm very happy that Maria joined me today for this wonderful webinar.
Hello, Maria. Thank you, Lev, for inviting me.
Yeah, we have a slide deck prepared for you. Please spare a minute and give us some feedback if you can see the slide deck. Please send a message to the chat and we will proceed.
Yeah, today we'll have a very informative webinar, so feel free to ask your questions in the chat and we will answer them.
We will try to show you demos, because last time we demonstrated to you a lot of updates for the server, and today we're going to cover updates for the client application. And the client application is the application our users, our colleagues and your employees and your customer employees are dealing with, and that's the most important application of TrueConf for your users. And today we're going to cover the client application for desktops, which is called TrueConf 8.5. We also have a lot of different kinds of client applications for room solutions and mobiles. We're going to cover them later, and today's webinar we will focus precisely on the desktop updates. I'd like to remind to you that our desktop application are native application. They are not based on open source solutions. They are not based on browser technologies like Electron or any other solutions similar to WebView. We use native C++ application, which is really responsive and reliable and bring us the capability to do whatever we want, all kind of features. And that application is recommended to use for your users. So we always recommend to use our native application instead of the browser. And we have such applications for all major platforms, for Windows, for Mac, for Linux. Actually, a lot of different versions of Linux are available for this application. More than 10, I believe, all major versions of Ubuntu, Debian, CentOS, Red Hat Linux, and many others are fully supported as a Linux infrastructure. My sound is low. Let me check that. Gideon, can you please give me one more feedback? Is it better now? Can you hear me better now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're using the new microphone. That should be better. Yeah.
We hope so.
It's better.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you. Yeah, because my automatic gain control was disabled. That was the problem. So let's start, and we will try to show you demos, and Maria will assist me. First of all, I would like to focus on new features for the user interface. We try to bring new capabilities. We'd like to make the application really user-friendly. That's crucial, because we really don't want to teach and educate every employee, every user about how to use the application. And you can imagine some of our customers, they have hundreds of thousands of employees. It's just impossible to educate all of them on all kinds of IT infrastructure solutions and applications they're using. So the UI should be self-explanatory. It should be easy to learn. It should be easy to use. We don't need to read documentation to use client applications. So we put a lot of stress to make user-friendly UI, and I believe this is the best UI on the planet for the conferencing and messaging. And today we're going to show you what is new, what has been changed. So let's start with the first screen. This one is about authentication. Actually, this is how the interaction with the client application for every user starts. And this screen is really important, because in real world we always have to connect to the corporate server. If you know well, we develop our on-premises solution, so there is always a server, and we need the user, the employee, somehow to connect to that server. And for that we have many special tools and optimizations already available in place, but we decided to add additional step to catch people who might not join the proper server of your organization or your customer organization, and decided to redesign the authentication screen. Please let me remind you how we try to catch users who are running the application for the first time, who start the application for the first time. First of all, when you download the client application from TrueConf server guest page, the web page which is rendered from TrueConf server, the client application automatically connects to your local server because we encrypt in the file name, in the installer file name, the connection details for your local server. However, sometimes people, they download the application from our website, or they install it from the App Store, let's say Apple App Store, or they install it for Linux from different locations. It could be the repository which is not on our website, for example. And in such cases, we need to help the user to locate the local server. And here we are having the second feature, which is already available. We have it for many years. It is the automatic detection of the corporate server in the local network. So because TrueConf server constantly sends information using MDNS technology, MDNS protocol. It's kind of unique broadcast packets we send to the network that I'm here, I'm TrueConf server, I'm ready to connect TrueConf client application. And client application located in the same network or subnetwork will automatically detect the corporate server and connect to it. And that significantly simplifies the connection process for the user. After the connection, they can authenticate using the main authentication login and password, depending on identification protocol you selected, and because we do support a lot of them, like Kerberos, NTLM, ADFS, and many others. But sometimes people are connecting from remote locations. They could connect from different branches of your company, different cities, and the TrueConf server could be located in a different network, different subnetwork, and the client application won't be able to receive those broadcast packets and detect where the server is. And to catch that, we supported the new, not the technology, but the new way how to learn, how to allow client application to learn about the location of TrueConf server using the SRV entities, special text fields, which could be set it for your domain name using DNS tools like TXT or MX entries. Now we also allow to enter SRV entries for your domain, which could help us to locate the TrueConf server. So I will share my screen to show you. So let's do this. So here we have the application. And that application is not authenticated. So I'm seeing that for the first time. I'm the new user. I only have my domain authentication details, my login and password from Active Directory. And here I have two options when I see TrueConf application for the first time. First of all, I need to sign in. I don't need to think about the cloud option or local server option. I only need to select whether I need to join the existing conference. So let's say one-time usage of this application like Zoom or WebEx, or I need to authenticate and to use the application as unified communications as the corporate messenger application. So if I need to join the conference using the link, I only need to copy and paste the link. For example, we are currently having the webinar on the TrueConf server address video.trueconf.com /c/tc85 HTTPS. So if I enter the link for the conference, we will automatically detect the address of the server using the link information. It is actually saved in the meta fields of the HTML page, so we can read it through. And after that, we need to enter my guest name or username. Because our webinar required registration, I need to authenticate using an account from that server. But if it were the webinar without registration, I would need to enter my display name and join the conference. However, if I want to authenticate as in unified communication application, not one-time meeting, I need to sign in. And here we have the new way how to find the new server, how to find TrueConf server. So here we need to decide whether we like to authenticate using the corporate user account or we need to authenticate using cloud user account. And the focus and the default action is connected with the corporate user account button. So we are no longer automatically connect client application to the cloud. We we're actually connecting it to nowhere. We ask the user to decide where to go, and the focus is stressed on the corporate user account. And here we only need to enter the corporate domain name, my email, corporate email, and that's it. For example, my corporate email address is lyakupov@trueconf.ru, and that's not the address of our server. This is not my user ID. This is actually my email address, corporate email address. So once I press next, the client application automatically reads the SRV entry for domain name TrueConf.ru, and from that entry, the client application learns that the address of the corporate TrueConf server is team.trueconf.com. This is our actually TrueConf local server we use internally. And now the client application, immediately after I have specified my email address, connected to my corporate server, which is located on a different domain, subdomain, and only after that I need to enter my password. So that significantly improves the authentication process. I don't need to know three strings: the address of the server, the login and password. I only need to know my domain account email address and the password, and we will figure out everything else automatically. If we don't have entry for SRV entry for the domain name, we can still specify. I will delete that. Yes, we still can specify manually the address of the server. So it can be done like before. Okay, so let me connect to our local server, which is video trueconf.com. We will need it for demos.
Actually, we need our test server for demos.
Test server, do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, we are back to our test server.
It is
not this one. Okay,
not this one.
I will do it later. So let's continue with the slides. That was the first feature, the new authentication screen. So we want users of our customers to make sure that they connect to the right server. The new other feature are connected with the usability and the new UI. Maria, please go on.
So we have updated our conference interface to make it more user-friendly, more convenient for some viewers, because there are people who pay special attention to the interface, to the design of the application. That's why we made it more intuitive, more smooth. We have some round corners, so we made special bar with reactions, and now it is much more convenient to moderate the conference, to have the whole view of the conference from the user side. And also we have mainly updated the planning process of the conference. When you want to schedule a meeting, you don't need to do many things as it was before. Now the process is very smooth, convenient, and fast. So the server is here, and account is here. Now we are going to showcase you some demonstration, so you could see in your own eyes all the process of creating the conference and how it looks like. Just a moment. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, we are ready. So let's switch to the demo client application with the version 8.5 to see how it looks like. This is the new application. So first of all, let's proceed to the conference. I will create a new conference. Well, I don't know which one. So let's try to find available people and connect them to the conference. All are busy. A lot of people are busy actually. Why are they busy?
We have so busy bots.
Yeah. Okay, I find some people. I will create all on screen conference. So yeah, now we have a kind of a conference. So we can see that now we have a round corners. We have a distance, the gap between video windows. But most importantly, we redesigned the icons. We redesigned the statuses. So let's pay attention to that user on the middle row. So just a moment. Yeah, microphone is okay. So we now can see the icons like the mute of the microphone, the camera status, or for example, if you don't want to receive the video and audio stream from that user, if we assign some privileges to that user, like the moderator of the conference and other statuses, they will be visible. So you can see them here. We can move that information around. Like before, we can change layouts and do whatever we want. And we can see also the reaction panel. So we can raise our hand and it will be visible here. It will be also visible in the participant list. I will remove my reaction. We can also change the appearance of the application. So if I go to the appearance, now we can change the settings for rounding and the colors and the background and everything. And actually we can disable the rounding and disable the spacing, so the conference will look like before. So it's up to you. But idea for us is to allow the application to significantly save the resources of the endpoint. And we automatically select different presets. For example, if the user is connecting from not really powerful computer, but let's say from older laptop, let's say third or fourth generation of iCore from Intel, or maybe first generation of Ryzen from AMD, we automatically select the preset for encoding, for animations, and for different UI sugar, which make the UI better to save the resources. It is really important, especially for organizations who relies on VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure, where we actually render and we actually use the server resources, VDI server resources for the conferencing application for users. So it is fully also supported. So let's move forward. I will stop this conference and go back to the slides. Just a moment. The next feature is about the conferencing tab. So we decided to completely redesign and update the conference tab, which is after the messaging and chat is the most important tab of the application. And the things we did here are really, really important. We will split it in 3 parts. So Maria, please share it with us and I will make the demonstration.
Yeah, sure. So we completely redesigned the page conference, the tab conference in our client application. Now, when you go to this page, this tab, you see the very important part, and it is per hoc meeting. So now you can click Start Now button and create ad hoc meeting, so you can meet with your colleagues right away. You can add new participants and start discussing some important issues on the go, for example. Yeah, we see that people connect to our immediate meeting, and we can interact with users. Everything is okay.
I'd like to pay attention that now we have only one button which brings attention of the users, the single orange button in the UI, and user now will definitely find how to start ad hoc meeting right on the go meeting. So no need to plan the conference to do some scheduling process. We just click here and we are in a conference. And the next button which brings our attention to is the blue one, which actually allows us to invite people to the conference. Because for users, it is really challenging how to create a conference. They don't know that they can escalate the point-to-point call to the conference any moment. Actually, it is very common, but for experienced user, that any point-to-point call could be escalated to the conference by inviting third, fourth, or fifth participant to this call. But now, inside the conference setting, we just click here, start now, and we immediately start a new conference with default settings. And those default settings, they could be changed. So you can select which type of conference should be started when you click here. Those settings are applied for this user only, not globally for the server, but for this user only. By default, we start the smart meeting, but later user can change it. And we can restore it to default once again. Or we can start the conference with some additional configuration. For example, this is actually how it looks like before. So this is the previous interface where we have to select the topic, we have to select the type of the conference, add participants, etc. So we have more settings, but in most of the cases we don't need it. We just need to start it now, and later we will figure out everything else.
That was the first part. People.
The second part, Maria.
Yeah, the second part is how to quickly connect to the ongoing meeting, for example. So you have the link and you don't know what to do with this link. You need to go to our client application and to pass this link to the field above, not above, but below the word connect. And you immediately connect to the running conference.
It could be a link, or it could be the conference ID. And it is very, very easy to find this field, because right now on the conference section of the application, we have only single input field, the only one for the conference connection. So it is very difficult to confuse it with the conference name, my name, guest name, whatever. So we have like two major parts: start now and enter the conference ID. Plain simple, and we connect to the conference. And actually the same field we have even before authentication. Yeah. Outside of the application, before we authenticate in the application. So that's very, very convenient. And the third part, Maria, please tell us about it.
The biggest part.
Yeah, this part of the application, you see ongoing conferences and scheduled conferences.
So now you can see all your schedule for the running day, or you can see the calendar with your planned conferences. And here you see that we added new text bars to these text blocks. So we see the time of the conference, when it begins, when it finishes. We see if the conference will be recorded. It is important for some users to record meetings, to record some important discussions. That's why we added this sign. Also, you see how many people are invited to the meeting, and you see the owner of this meeting, so the person who created this conference. And anytime, if you have a scheduled meeting and if you are the owner of this meeting, you can start this conference to check all the settings, to check the connection, and to perform some preliminary actions.
We also connect those parts of the cards with the actual UI of the application. So if we click on the list of participants, we will see who is invited. When we click on the owner, on the host, we will see the profile of the host. When we click some other regions, we see the information about this ongoing conference. And if the conference is running, we can connect to it, and we can see information about the ongoing conference. That's more convenient, and you don't need to click through the days in your calendar. You automatically see the agenda for today. The current version of this calendar is populated from the events, local events from TrueConf server. But after the release of TrueConf server 5.5, we are going to present to you the new product, which is called TrueConf Calendar Connector, which provides native integration with Microsoft Exchange protocol called Exchange Web Services. So this list of events will, for every user, in every application, will be automatically populated with his Outlook events. So all day agenda will be created on this page. So when you click here, you automatically your users will see his day agenda, and if the invitations, if the events will have a link, we will display the join button. Or maybe they could have SIP colon, some IP address information about the SIP call. We'll be able to recognize it. And Zoom links and WebEx link will also be recognized, so we could join them using SIP connectivity, using our gateway right from this panel. So that's very important update for the conference settings. And I'd like to pay attention to another important part. When we create a new conference, so let me do it. So this is the old interface. I will click here, create a conference. This page was also redesigned. And we don't need longer to select the type of the conference. Either it should be a public conference or private conference, which is more secure and require authentication. We don't need to select whether that conference should be the virtual room, which don't have the date and time for the start or some schedule to follow. We could adjust those settings later. And for example, if we'd like to create the public conference available for guests using the link access, all we have to do is use this checkbox, guest participants. So we will allow anyone who have the link to join the conference. If we remove this checkbox, this conference is no longer public, so no need to recreate the conference. We can adjust it in real time. And the same is true for virtual rooms. So when we click here without schedule, we automatically create a virtual room, and we can change it not on the go, but before the conference started. When it is stopped, we can change it any moment. So no need to create different conferences for that. No need to actually, it helps users. They don't need to decide whether that conference should be private or public. They just create it by default, like before. It will be private, but if they enable guest participants, they will see it. Some other important things I also bring in front to the general settings, like conference recording, like PIN setting for the public conference, which is we recommend to use, is now available on this first general page. You don't need to look for them in the advanced settings. So advanced settings are for advanced users. For regular users, everything is presented here, and that's really important. So we significantly improved the usability and simplified the process of conference creation for users. So it is really easy to create ad hoc conference by simply clicking this button, or it is much easier to create a new conference when you use the scheduling process. By the way, we also updated the time settings, so no need to click on the minutes. You can select time slots. You can adjust on the server side between 15 and 30 minute slots, so you can adjust. We selected 30-minute slots, so we create a conference. We can select the duration, let's say 1 hour. No need to click on the minutes and hours anymore, and automatically this will be applied to the conference. So just a couple of clicks and we are done. No need to manually select every date and time. We select from options we created. All other settings are the same. List of participants, invitations, layout settings. We covered them in the previous webinar last week. Registration for the webinars, like you have registered today for the webinar. Interpretation for interpreters is also available, and some other advanced settings also remains here. So let's stop this demo and proceed further. Scheduler is covered. Notifications. Maria?
We have redesigned a little bit our pop-up notifications. So you know that when you receive some incoming message in the client application and you are not in the client application, you receive a pop-up notification. And we made round corners for this notification, of course, and now you can choose the location of the notification in your desktop, in your screen.
Actually, there are a lot of settings for notifications for all types of notifications: mentions, direct messages, calls, invitations to the conferences, and other things. And you can decide how they be visible. And now we render the notifications using our own application, so they are not based on the system notifications, so they look more nicely. and we can control more things for notifications and make sure that everything is under control. We also take care about capturing. So because we can render notifications, we will not capture private notifications. When you capture your screen, your desktop, your private notifications won't be captured by TrueConf application and share it to the conference users. So they are only visible on a different layer, only for the user to whom they were initially sent to. We also improved the profile. On the last webinar, we told you that it is possible to synchronize a lot of different fields from Active Directory profile. That could be city, department, additional phone number, birthday, who is the information about the supervisor, the manager above that user, etc. So all that information is presented in the profile. We can also separate the files we exchange with that user and calls we make to that with that user. And the same is also applied for the group chat profile, so we can see files and calls and list of participants separately. So we continue to improve this area, and it will become even better because we will add tabs for links and other different types of files like video files or documents. So the profile should be used more often, and it is a part of the application. So actually we are going to cover some very important things connected to the chat. We briefly told about chat settings on the last webinar, so it's time to show them to you. So I will go back to my presentation. I'm sorry, I will go back to my desktop. So now we have this is the main section of the application, chat section. It is actually located on the top of the different sections of our application. So the corporate chat is really important. And let's briefly cover what new things we have introduced in the TrueConf Server 5.5 and the new client application. First of all, we have the panel for folders. We covered them last time, so you can see many different folders. You can create them on the go. You have to add some chat to make a new folder. After that, we can move people between different folders by selecting which chats should be visible in which folder. There could be many different folders with the same chats, channels, and group chats. So it's basically, folder is a tag name. So we attach different tags to different chats. Another new thing is called archive. For example, if I don't want to see some conference, I can archive it, and it will go to archive, and we automatically delete conferences in 15 minutes which don't have any messages and files inside. And archive is only visible here. We will never see the archived chats and conversations and channels in the all chat sections. It is also possible to make unread the messages, so I can read it, or I can unread it again. So that's convenient, and the number of unread chats for every folder will be recalculated. We also are able to create channels. Channels are very, very cool stuff. I don't know what we have here. So we created a channel, we assigned some people to the channel, and only people who are moderators of the channel are able to send information to it. I can, for example, share my privileges of moderator to some other users, and it will be saved. You can see the profile for the channel here, the files being shared, calls being made. We can mute updates for this channel. We can move this new channel to the folder called channels. It could be any name for the folder. We can actually pin to the top this channel, so it will be always on top of the list, even if we don't have new messages and mentions here. You can also see mentions. For example, if I have a muted sales team chat, group chat, we have a chat icon, group chat icon, and we have a muted icon here. So it's not my team, for example, not my project, but if I were directly mentioned, I will see the special icon which shows that I was mentioned there directly. That's really, really cool. I can pin it, I can make it unread, so all things are fully supported. So this is a very nice, very new chat functions we have here. And I'd like to remind to you that you can use API to create your own type of applications which interact with chatbots, notifications. different business logic. Everything you see here in the folders and chat and messages and files can be automated using API. We covered it in 2 webinars, 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. And also I'd like to pay attention to some smaller things which are usually invisible to users, but they're really important. For example, if I have a very long message, like this one, you can see that the input field grows, so the area for the messages become larger. So I can edit, and inside this message I can use the larger field. It is more convenient, so multi-line. We can also have the spell checker built in. For example, if we have support for English at the moment. For example, if I say conference with the mistake, I will be able to check it and fix the spelling, or I can see other suggestions, or I can add that word to my personal dictionary so it will never be corrected anymore. That's really cool. We can also use emojis here. We can do whatever we want. We can even insert links. So I will edit this message by pressing up arrow. So let's insert the link. So I double click the word, I select formatting, insert link, and let's say so now we have a link inside that message. So that's really cool. And most importantly, if you have a very long message, it could be the task for your team or some report about some conference or decision, we save everything. With every press, with every touch to the keyboard, everything is being saved, and the same draft for the message will never be lost. If your electricity goes off, if the client application will be disconnected from the server, if you forgot that you didn't send something, the draft will always remain. And the same draft will be available from the client application of your smartphone, iOS or Android automatically, because we synchronize drafts. So you can write long messages and you can be sure that nothing will ever be lost. That's really, really cool. And the same logic applies for the mobile application, so you can enter very large messages, so that's really convenient. And you can save that to your favorites, by the way. So I saved this part of this conversation with birthday cake to my favorites. I can access favorites list here. And also we decided to make very nice thing with the anchor. So for every favorite message, you don't need to save the whole conversation, the whole discussion with all types of messages. You only need to save to your favorites the most important message. And here we have a special button which redirects you to the part of the conversation, all the conversation from which point, from which message you saved it to your favorites. So I click here and I go back from favorites to the conversation which were saved to favorites. So I can use it to my later reference. And I don't need to remember where in the history that part of conversation took place. I don't need to save all the messages. I just click here. I can see the context in which part of the conversation in this chat or channel or personal chat that message was saved. So a lot of smaller things we do really care to make for you the process of messaging much easier. And everything you can see here is also available on the smartphone. That's really important because messaging is more about mobile usage, not desktop usage. And we covered the profile. So we have the profile for users, for channels, for group chats. So you can see everything available here. And the calls is really important, because in our architecture, in our ideology, every chat is a conference and every conference is a chat. And after every conference, we could have a chat. And we can leave the conference, but we can able to send messages to the chat to other participants. And after the conference, we can reuse messages sent to the chat of the conference. So I start a conference, I can see the previous messages from that group chat. I can send messages to this chat. I can actually leave this conference and all the messages will be visible to the participants of the conference who are still there. And that's really, really important because we can reuse the information, the data we created on the previous meetings to address them on the new meeting. That was the very short chat demo for the version 5.5. Let's move forward.
Yeah, it's very important when all communications are in one place and you can interact with your team immediately, right on the go, from any device.
So let's recap about the new chat functions. We introduced folders. We have introduced channels, which are read-only for non-moderator users. By the way, channels are not limited. It could be thousands. We have successfully tested channels for 5,000 users.
Oh my God.
That's a lot. We introduced archive for messaging chats and channels, personal chats you are not interesting anymore.
So, for example, if I'm mentioned in the chat that is in archive, will there be any notification?
Yeah, of course, there will be a notification. So like for any other folder, but basically the difference between all chats in the archive is that conversations in the archive are not visible in the all chats, but mentions will apply
They
there
are hidden
as well.
in the separate folder.
Yeah, so they're not visible in all other folders. They disappear. They're only visible in the archive. We introduced the pinning for the chat and conversations, not for messages. For messages, it will follow later.
We continue to evolve and improve.
Yeah, every release, the messaging is really, really important. The next part is about unread. So you can mark conversation, not message, conversation, read or unread any moment. We introduced the spell checker for English at the moment with the personal dictionary for every user. We added support for links, for text links, not just for links which looks like links, which will automatically highlight it, but you can actually change the anchor, the text for the link. We introduced mentions, which were available before, but now they are highlighted in the list of chats, and you bring definitely more attentions to the conversations where you were presented the conversation. Okay, can you see the slides right now? We hope you can see the slide deck.
Please give us your feedback. Can you see slides?
Should be fine. We added support for, yeah, thank you, Gideon. Yeah, thanks. Maybe that message wasn't dedicated to us by Ivan. We added support for LibreOffice. Many users have Microsoft Office, either LibreOffice installed on their computers. We already have support for PowerPoint files, but we now added support for LibreOffice, let's say open documents format for presentations, tables, documents, and forms and diagrams. And if we have LibreOffice library installed on the computer, on the desktop computer of the user, we will automatically use that installation libraries to generate previews for the documents. So it is now possible to preview all types of files mentioned on that slide inside the chat. That's really, really important because sometimes we don't need to edit files. We need only to see some information inside the file, and opening the Office suite could take, let's say, sometimes on the more powerful computers they could take up to 5 seconds, cold start. But for all the computers to start the Office application, that could take 20 seconds. That's a lot. But with the instant preview inside the chat, we can preview the chat without editing capabilities instantly. That's really, really cool. However, for the first time, we need to create that preview. But once it's created, it is really, really fast. And to continue to improve the chat experience, we also introduced the picture-in-picture mode for media content. Because during conferences, and conferences could take a lot of time, hours sometimes. And for example, the same could also happen to your messaging conversation. For example, someone will just send to you the recording of the conference and your boss and told you, for example, you have to watch that 1 hour of the video. And at the same time, you have to be available for your colleagues. You have to be available in the corporate chat for your colleagues and employees. You have to communicate. And when you preview documents, when you preview videos and images in TrueConf chat, we actually show it above the chat. But now it is possible to detach and move in a separate window the video files or audio files. Let me show you. And this way we could have a view of the media content, let's say the recording of the conference, and in the same time we can continue to interact with the video conference, continue to interact with the group chats. That's really convenient. I will share my screen. I think I have the video file here. Yeah. So this is the video file. I can detach it. I have to click here on this link, and now I have this, let's say,
floating
hover, smaller window, which don't block my interactions with the group chat. So I can continue to send messages, and I can continue to hear and listen to the recording or video file, or I can have a look on some series of movies, whatever. Depends on the user.
Don't do that.
But it's inside the application. We are not opening third-party applications, so we play back it internally and we can resize it. We will later add support for the speed of playback. Right now we play back at original speed, but some basic stuff is available. That's really, really cool. And also, I think I have some open document file somewhere here.
Yes, so you need to choose Teresa Olsen chat.
Teresa. Yeah, so I have some open table. So I click here, open document. I can see the document right away. So it is generated automatically from that document. Okay, so let's proceed. So the next part is about AI features. So we now have separate neural networks, machine learning algorithms for the same task. For example, we have 2 networks for virtual backgrounds. We have 2 networks for noise reduction based on the performance, based on the how good the CPU of the user. So we select the appropriate model based on the we measure the performance of every computer, so we can select the proper network for the computer to make sure that when we do noise cancelling, when we do virtual backgrounds, it doesn't affect the performance of the computer. So we can continue to work with mail client application, browser, or some other corporate applications. And in this release of this application, we added support for videos in the background. So let's have a look. I will stop my slide deck. I click on myself, and so for example, this is the typical how it looks like. So we have a blurring, we have image backgrounds, but now we can use the video as the virtual background. So you can use it for more vivid, more branded experience. So you can use it for example, to display the logo of your company, or maybe
promo video, for example.
Like here we have a promo video. It could be for government customers. They love to use the coat of arms of the region, or the emblem of the ministry, for example. So that looks really, really cool, and it doesn't affect the performance. So we take care about it. So let's stop this. We also improved the face tracking, so I will show it to you. So we can follow the person who is speaking inside the client application, and we try to display not just the one person, but group of persons. We try to keep them in focus. So if I move around, for example, away, the camera will do nothing, but our application will try to focus on us to make sure that the size of our heads are the same during the conference. So if I move around, it will be moved as well to take the frame on the group of people. So it also improved. I will disable this face tracking. And another very nice feature is connected with whiteboard. So let me show it to you. So it is now possible to select the document camera. For example, in your room or your desktop, you have an additional camera which is directed to the flip chart, marker board, whiteboard. It could be part of the wall, whatever. It could be a chalkboard for the training in school or university. And we can use the new AI feature to select the part of the wall or part of the whiteboard which will be used as a source of the content, and we will automatically adjust all the geometrical distortions so it will look rectangular. But moreover, we are able now to remove the head, the hand, the part of the body of the speaker. The person who is using the whiteboard is not visible, only the content is visible. It's very similar to high-end conferencing and let's say cameras. Some video bars are capable of that, but now you can use it with whatever camera you have. So we're doing that purely by software. So let's have a look. I will share my screen. I will create a new conference. Here we have a PDZ camera. I will rotate it a little bit. Yeah. So we have a whiteboard here. That's enough, Maria. Just can you please rotate it a little bit? No, different direction. Yeah, and move it closer to you. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just up here. So we do not have a rectangle here. The whiteboard is a little bit rotated, tilted in front of us. So what we can do, I can select the document or whiteboard recognition. I need to put the borders of my content area just once for the first time. I will adjust it a little bit this way. So you can see that all distortions will be fixed. So now it is absolutely flat. I can enable this checkbox. That's really important. I can flip the video. For example, if my camera is rotated or if my camera is connected to the ceiling, so I can change the orientation of the content. Once confirmed, the content will be automatically created. If Maria will start to write anything using the pen, you can use the pen below. So the content will automatically will be updated, but we will try to eliminate and remove the parts of the body and everything, so it will be updated automatically. But for that we need to move a little bit around. We need to remember what was before the camera, so we didn't do it right now, but it is possible. So if we move around, it will better eliminate the part of the body once we remember what was before displayed on that part of the image.
And there are some delays, of course.
Yeah, but it's okay. In a couple of seconds everything will be removed. So you can see how it's working, and we can change, for example, if we see that the image is a little bit wider, so we can adjust it in real time, and we will correct the distortions in real time. So this is how it works. Maria, thank you. I will disable that. Okay, we are back to the slide deck. Some other features is connected with the new codecs. So we added support in this new version 8.5 for the video codec called AV1. Right now it is only available for point-to-point calls. It is not available in the multi-point calls. And the idea behind AV1 is to give you much better quality on low bandwidth connections. For example, if one of the users of the conferences, or I'm sorry, point-to-point call, bandwidth is limited, let's say 200, 300, 400 kilobits, we will be able to more frames per second. We will be able to send high resolution to that user, from that user using AV1. We are only using software compression for AV1 because hardware compression outputs very high bandwidth, which is not useful for conferencing. But for point-to-point calls and low resolution, there is no penalties, no difference in the CPU usage for low resolutions, but we can significantly improve the quality for low bandwidth connections for point-to-point calls, especially for the content. We will evaluate how it will affect the quality of the conversations, and later we are thinking about introducing AV1 for multi-point calls. But Our priority is compatibility with different CPUs and with different machines our users having, and AV1 has much higher system requirements compared to VP8. And on a higher bandwidth, on a bigger resolutions, there is no much difference actually. It is very difficult to see the difference by eye. But for the content and for smaller bandwidth, you can definitely see the difference. But for high resolutions, for high bandwidth, not much difference. So we select many different parameters to decide whether we need to switch from VP8 to AV1, and that switching happens automatically, and the user will never see the change. So no frames are lost, no interruption of video happens. We just simultaneous, just invisibly to the user change the video codec if we believe it is better now. That's a huge step forward because AV1 is a new generation codec, but it will take years before it will be adopted by CPUs and the developers, and the computers of users will be upgraded before we will enable it globally for everyone. Like we did it before, like before VP8 we used H.263 and our own video codec many years ago. So we need to wait a little bit before the computers globally will be more powerful to support the new codec. Right now we don't have any challenges, so we choose VP8, which is great codec, very nice, much better than 264. And AV1 is the next step, but right now it is only available for point-to-point calls, not globally. Another new feature is connected with the whiteboard. We totally redesigned and updated the whiteboard. So it's difficult for me to show it to you because it won't be captured. I will show from the screen. So now we have a special tool which is called the trace. So when you move your mouse around, it will leave the red trace, which is very easy to read when you share the content. We redesigned the toolbar, so it's much easier to save what you draw, to cancel the changes, to recapture the desktop, because we only allow to draw above the content. So you can recapture the content any moment and draw once again, because we freeze the content when you do the drawing thing. So we do not draw above the live content, we freeze. That's really important. For example, if we have a telemedicine session and when we click on the drawing icon, the image is frozen. So we can address we can put some attention to specific areas and parts of the image which is frozen, which is very useful, and we can later save it and copy and paste to the chart. That's a new feature. Maria, what else?
High requested feature from our chat community, so feel free to join us in WhatsApp and other social media. So here we would like to show you that now you can adjust and custom notification sounds right in the client application for desktops. So you now go to the settings and to choose any sound you want to have when you receive some notification or incoming call. And please pay attention that there are some formats that are supported, and also, of course, the size of the sound is also valuable.
I think thank you, Maria. That's all for the most important changes in the client application, desktop client application 8.5. We're going to cover in August the new updates for the mobile application and room solutions, so please stay tuned. But before we end, I'd like to tell you about the new wonderful offer we can give to our customers, because we believe in the power of messaging, and we really want to use our to allow our customers to use our platform not just for video conferencing but for messaging as well. We have a new very nice offer to give for with every technical support, full technical support package. We offer 1,000 users for messaging, for chat users. We call them online users. That's really great offer. So if you have a full technical support package, or if your customers have full technical support package, you can have this activated for the period when you have the technical support is valid, or if you buy the new technical support package, full package, we will add to your license that 1000 user for messaging, because everybody have to be connected. Every employee, even if this employee don't have the desktop computer, he definitely or she definitely have the smartphone, so we can connect everybody. So please use it. That's really nice addition.
Apply to your account managers to learn more details, or you can go to our blog and read all the details about this offer.
And that's it. We like to tell you about the client application. So we have some extra part. We're going to cover it because we didn't do it in the previous webinars. But if you don't have time, feel free to go. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. But if you would like to see something new, we're going to cover the new product, which is some additional smaller product for ease of managing of larger conferences, which is called the Timekeeper. So let me show you. So that new product, it's basically an application, additional application for Windows at the moment, only for Windows, which allows us to connect to the ongoing conference. So if we have right now, we have a webinar, a public conference going on. If I start that application, we will automatically see the list of participants of this conference, and we can rearrange them, and we can set up the timer. And once we did it, we hit the play button, and immediately all other participants of the conference will start to see, instead of the video of my user, the timer and the information about the previous speaker, the current speaker, and how much time left. But inside the Timekeeper application, the moderator will be able to change that time slots for every speaker, and they will be visible for other users. So we use the same user account, which is authenticated on TrueConf desktop application. So the requirements are very simple. You have to be inside the conference, you have to be authenticated in that conference, you have to be the moderator of the conference, and if you start the Timekeeper application, you will be able to use your account. So basically there will be two accounts of yours in the same conference. The user of yours will be duplicated, but the second video from your account will be displayed not as your camera, but as this widget with the information about the time slot available for every speaker. So that could be used to bring control and order to the important meetings where you have many speakers, but the time frame is limited, and you can show people how much time left and who is the next, because speakers are always they don't fill the time. They always took more time than expected, and that sums up, adds up, and by end of the meeting you are off. Let's say you are good if you are off by 10 minutes, but it could be 1 hour sometimes. So to bring peace to the organizers, we have designed this tool, and that tool plays nicely with all types of conferences we have.
We have a slide for that.
Yep. Where it
previous one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it depends on the types of the conference. It could be, I think here we have it, order management. Yeah, depends on the type of the conference, smart meeting, video lecture. We automatically, for example, when we ask the next speaker to present, it will be automatically promoted to the podium. When his time is off, if we don't extend the time, he will be removed from the podium and another speaker will be placed on the podium. Mm-hmm. This is free to use application. It will be available with the release of this application 8.5. So it will only available for Windows, but it will be released together with the client app.
And it is free.
It's free to use. Yeah, it's like it's basically the demonstration of capabilities of our SDK. So it is created on our SDK, but instead of the camera, we send to the conference the widget with the information about the time left for the speaker. And this information will also be visible in the recording, so we can save it in the recording. So that's it. We like to share with you today. So I know a lot of information, but we have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of products, we have a lot of updates, and the next week we are going to cover the new product called TrueConf Calendar Connector, which will simplify the connectivity between Exchange server and TrueConf server, so your users will be able to see a whole agenda, all their personal events inside TrueConf application. So we'll cover that next week, correct?
This time, next week.
Same time.
Feel free to join.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Greenwich time, 1 p.m. Moscow time. Once again, we'll show you the new, very nice enterprise product. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Maria, thank you so much
for presenting such an interesting features. Yeah, feel free to join us next week. Stay tuned in our social media and communities.
Yeah, big hello to all our users. It was nice to see you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.